Welcome in. It's Locked On NFL Insider Report. I'm your host, Kainani Stevens. Isaiah Stanback, our Locked On NFL Insider, is here. And we had nothing but upsets this weekend in the NFL playoffs. And for the first time in 12 years, Aaron Rodgers or Tom Brady are not playing in either of the championship games. It's very strange that one of them does not make it to that point. Obviously, we're used to them being there. They're veterans. They're successful. They've won Super Bowls. And now we don't know if they're going to even be in the league or what team they'll be on next year. So let's start off with Aaron Rodgers. He had a whole lot going on last offseason, this offseason as well. Well, what did you make of his remarks? Obviously, a little bit of a shocking loss to the 49ers, and then what he had to say after the game.
Yeah, it was very surprising that they lost the game to the 49ers. Unfortunately, they just let those guys hang around entirely too long, and the 49ers went back to their bully ball and was able to out-physical Green Bay into a victory, a late victory. So they came back. Robbie Gould did a great job kicking a field goal to end the ball game. But as you start now, you following that game, you look at Aaron Rodgers and his comments saying that I don't want to be a part of a rebuilding. And obviously we knew there was a lot of turmoil between him and Green Bay with this offseason that they had, restructuring of his contract with some dead cap money. And I think he's hit he has a big hit against the cap this year. And obviously he wants to get out of there. That was the talk coming into the season. He's went out, had a heck of a season. Almost, maybe we'll see if it's an MVP caliber season this year. Ends a little bit earlier than they hoped for. Now they're in a situation where he's saying that he pretty much doesn't know what the future holds, and when the consensus pretty much was that he was out. So there's a lot of question marks. People are wondering, okay, well, can we actually retain him? Most likely he's going to be out of here. I think he has a $46 million hit against the cap next year. But if they trade him, they will actually save $19 million. Devontae Adams, the number one weapon, obviously, for the Green Bay Packers, is not under contract. He's an unrestricted free agent who possibly can be tagged, but he I would imagine will go wherever Aaron Rodgers goes. So Green Bay is in a lot of limbo right now, and I can only imagine the fan base there probably has their head on a swivel in terms of what's going to go on. Hold on to your seatbelts, because it's going to be a crazy offseason for Green Bay fans.
From a fan's perspective, I mean, you're looking at this team, the Packers dominant all year. They get upset in the playoffs, but they're, Super Bowl contenders pretty much every time out there with Aaron Rodgers. But is the team even fiscally able to keep him if they wanted to? Because, you touched on some of the numbers there, but him alone, I don't know if they could do it with the money. And then the fact that you have to fill out a whole other roster. Is this even possible?
Yeah, I don't see this being feasible. I know people, there's the analogy of kick the can down the road, where you can kind of push money down to the tail end and say, okay, we'll deal with this
I think
later.
we're at the end of the road, though, right?
This is definitely the end of the road. This is a dead end. No Roger Rabbit here, where you can just lay down another road. I mean, this is it. And I think, the honeymoon is over. Aaron Rodgers has been there for a very long time. He's had a historic, Hall of Fame career up to this point. But obviously, with the offseason that the management he had, it was pretty much a done deal coming into this season, that they were going to, whatever the end result of this year was, that they were going to part ways at the end of this year. That's what the restructuring of this deal has pretty much set them up for. It's put them in a situation where they financially can't hold on to him. Like I said, if they do retain him next year somehow, some way, it's going to be a $46 million hit. We obviously know there's a readjustment to the salary cap this year for NFL teams, and they just financially can't do that and try to retain some of their best weapons in Devontae Adams.
This also has to be, pretty appealing for some of these other teams that are maybe a quarterback away from a situation like this, where Aaron Rodgers is available and Devontae Adams might follow him to wherever he goes. So obviously there's going to be a lot of teams in on this. Is there anywhere that maybe you've recently thought about that Aaron might fit well in?
Yeah, I think right off the bat, I'm thinking about the Denver Broncos. You think about the fact that the general manager there, or not the general manager, but the president of the operations there, is John Elway. There's rumors swirling around. Obviously, the team is up for sale right now. That's kind of what's leading up to this right now. There's rumors that the Manning family wants to take over that. So if you can imagine the Manning brothers and the Manning, family owning it, John Elway running football operations, and then possibly Aaron Rodgers sitting in there leading the organization in terms of on the field, that would be absolutely scary. The type of meetings and minds that are being that could be possibly in one room. But it's all rumors. It's all rumors, all speculation at this point in time. But that would be the number one pick for the Denver Broncos.
A lot of quarterback minds there if that does come to fruition.
Yeah.
One of the other big upsets of the weekend, the defending champs, Tom Brady and the Bucks, take it right down to the wire. They did everything they could to try to come back in the end there, and LA did everything they could to basically throw the game away. But the Rams ended up winning it, and they're headed to the NFC Championship game. But Tom Brady, we don't know necessarily if we're gonna, with him, it's every year you kind of reevaluate, see where he's at. He had long since said, I want to play till 45, but we haven't heard that much from him lately. So what are your thoughts? Obviously you played with him at one point. What do you think where do you think he's at with that?
Yeah, well, obviously, following this loss today, we're hearing reports that he may not be coming back. That he's not non-committal right now. That's coming out from Adam Schefter and Dan Orlovsky, and that's kind of questionable. I obviously haven't played with him. I know the type of competitor he is. I don't believe that Tom Brady is willing to walk away from the game of football under these circumstances. He's a winner. His legacy has been all about winning. And for him, knowing him and playing with him, knowing the competitor he is, it would eat him alive to walk away from this game knowing that he didn't achieve, even giving himself an opportunity at another Lombardi. I don't see him walking away from the game at this point, even though Father Time is pretty much kicking in the door at this point in time. He's still playing really high quality football. And as long as they can keep that man upright, he'll find a way to be on the field.
It may just be that time of year where you kind of take a little bit of time to reflect, because Tom Brady has always been so adamant that he wants to do everything that other people haven't done. I think, personally, I think it's been floated out there, of course, if they had made the Super Bowl, possibly won a Super Bowl, it might be more likely that he would kind of hang it up
Correct.
at that point. But, leaving something on the table where, he's still got a great team around him. Mike Evans
Yeah.
is locked down for a while. Godwin's an unrestricted free agent, but Tom's got Gronk out there. He's throwing all his boys. That team is built around him to be successful. Could he possibly do? I mean, he physically looks like he could do it again, right?
Yeah, physically he can. I mean, obviously he has his whole, nutrition and fitness
Yep.
line. He's doing just fine
Mhm.
in terms of physical health. Now his wife Giselle, I'm not sure whether she's on board in terms of him continuing to play. But in terms of Tom Brady, his ability to play, he's fully capable to play. Now, when you start looking at this roster and start looking at the salary cap and some of those aspects that really the business aspect that plays a part in the game of football, that's when you start raising concern. Okay, can you retain these guys? This team has been formed with a lot of one-year deals, a lot of veteran players. You talk about the Fournettes of the world. You talk about the Mike Evans, he's under contract. Antonio Brown, who just obviously is not returning to this team. You have a lot of guys that were Gronkowski that were brought on this team to help them go out and win Lombardi trophies. And you start looking at, okay, what's the reality of being able to bring those guys back? And Ndamukong Suh, will he come back? Jason Pierre-Paul, is he going to continue to play? He's had some years under his belt as well. Financially, you look at it, Tom Brady made $41 million this year. Going to next year, he's only going to hit you for almost $9 million, just under $9 million. So financially, you're in a good position, seemingly, as an organization. But what's the reality of bringing all these veteran players back that you need in order to have the type of run that you had again this last year and this year?
The Bucks have come out and said they want Tom back. They'll give him whatever he wants to come back. So I think it's maybe just giving a little bit of time to Tom Brady, see where he's at, and
Yeah.
as you mentioned, the competitor in him, you'd have to imagine he'd want to try to give it another go if he physically could. But at some point, he's going to have to hang him up. So we'll have to wait and see exactly on that one. But definitely some interesting offseason stories, some great games this weekend. So we'll have a lot to look forward to on that front. Isaiah, thank you once again for your wisdom and your knowledge and sharing that with us. I'm Kainani. This has been another edition of Locked On NFL.